Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's FPV podcast. This week, we're going to be talking to two entrepreneurs trying to change the world with what they believe to be the place where you want to go with your families. So, before we introduce them, Elvin, why don't you say hello?
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I hope you guys, this is an interesting podcast we got going on this week. So I'm happy to be here, but get them batteries and check out Heli Direct. Baby Hawks are there.
Baby Hawks are there. So you two podcasters everywhere might have already heard them from the Quad Talk podcast. Definitely check them out if you have not checked out that podcast. But we have two people from Drone Parks Worldwide. Nick, please introduce yourself.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick Medincia. I'm from Drone Parks Worldwide, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about everything we've learned in the last year. I think some of you guys might know us from Quad Talk. We were on there in October, and so much has happened since then, and we're just so excited to talk to you guys and sit down by the coffee. Sit down by the coffee. Sit down by the fire and have a nice cup of coffee with you guys. So
pretty cool. Yeah, we're definitely interested about the business world of anything that's related to drones. Our other guest is Marjorie. Did I say it? Yeah, I said it right. Marjorie, please introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Marjorie, and I'm not with Drone Parks Worldwide. I am Drone Parks Worldwide.
Ooh.
Had to one up Nick. Had to one up him.
Nick, you're
going
a minion.
for the jugular. All right.
You're a minion, Nick.
That's how we're starting the evening off this
He
evening.
starts with the claws out right off the bat.
Hey, we're in a field of competition. It's no time to be nice right now.
Hey,
That is
be
What are
nice
we?
when it's
Are we Uber now? What are we? Come on. No.
you be nice after you put them in the casket. That's what
Uber's
you
a great company.
There we go, Alvin. I like the way you think. But yeah, like Nick said, excited to tell you guys about all of our newest developments and just say hey and answer metaphorically your questions.
Definitely. So I have plenty because I am a businessman at heart and I want to know everything about this company. So we usually start off with backgrounds, but before we do that, since we're talking about an actual company, can you guys give me a general synopsis of what Drone Parks Worldwide is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Drone Parks Worldwide, our vision is to build stadiums across the world for the purpose of drone flight. So basically, for the recreational people, you'd be able to come into this giant facility and learn how to fly if you've never flown before, or basically train to become a professional racing pilot for all the people out there who really want to take the next step. And then if you're a drone professional, which there are a lot of here down in Houston, you can do things like learn how to fly oil pipelines or become Part 107 certified. So yeah, really just an all multi-purpose space for drone use.
Pretty cool. Marjorie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'll chime in here and answer some questions that most
Yeah, Marjorie,
people...
do you have anything to add?
I always have something to add. I don't have 2 cents to put in. I have like 50 cents. I have like 50 cents on a dollar to add every time. So here's that 50 cents. So the questions that I get asked most often is why, who really cares? Why, I have a drone and I just fly it in my backyard, or I go to the park, nobody bothers me. Well, the reason why a space is so needed, and all of you FPVers out there and drone owners out there with experience know this, but for those of you who, those listeners who are not already in the drone community, we are here to help you get in. We are here to guide you, to teach you, to bring you in, and be that liaison between the community that already exists and those of you who want to get into it. And right now, there are a lot of obstacles preventing the general public from enjoying drones and drone technology. So the legality of it. Every different level of government has an opinion on where drones should be placed in our society. The weather, you can't just go outside and fly on any day. You have to make sure it's a perfectly sunny, non-windy, all of that. You're outside of 5 miles of an airport. And the technical aspects, you have to have a lot of time, as we were discussing earlier. and a lot of technical knowledge to operate these, especially safely around yourself and around your kids, you know? So we're here to break down those barriers and let anybody in.
Definitely. That sounds really cool. And as a person who does a lot of the drone stuff in my community, you would not believe how many emails I get is like, my drone is stuck in a tree. Can you help me? And I'm like, I get one of those emails like once every week. It's actually impossible. Elvin, do you get a lot of emails for help? I know you probably do.
Every week, man. I'm always doing something for somebody. It's not a big issue. It's just
that's pretty funny.
Go ahead.
I would email you and be like, I got my tiny whoop stuck in a tree. Can you please help get it down?
Well, go ahead.
If I was close enough, I'd get in my car and drive over there and help you get it down. I got 40 feet of PVC over here, 1.5 inch PVC. I'll drive over there. We'll hook it up, run a rope through the top of it, and we'll hoist and smack that thing down.
Aren't you sweet? You're the guy who gives the shirt off his back, aren't you, Elvin?
I have done that.
Oh, how sweet. Oh, everybody. He's such a sweetie.
He is. And
but
literally literally in my area, we have somebody who works on trees, but he's also a part-time drone retrieval because we'll call him when we need to get a drone out of the tree. It's actually a service now. He actually goes and does it for us. I mean, we pay him, but it's so funny how it's very easy to buy these, but it's also very easy to think that you know what you're doing and go out and crash them. So you are very right about that.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, part of why I love doing this every day is because I feel like we actually really get to interact with the public, but also with the drone community as well. And that's really, for me, that's a very special thing. It's a very special place to be in because, we're in a position where we're literally meeting thousands of people a month in the public and we're telling them about drones. But you would not believe how many people say to us, they're like, oh yeah, I bought such and such drone, took it out of the box, and then it broke. The amount of people that do that is incredible, but it's because there's no structure. And I think that's where we're really trying to come in and just provide structure and provide guidance, so.
And on the tail end of this, last night I was at a networking event and there was a guy there who literally had just quit his job. I can't remember what oil and gas company it was from, but he was like, I am rebelling against working in a cubicle and I want to do something with drones. So he was there knowing very little, but he had gotten his Part 107. And we were talking about the content of Part 107 and how funny it is that you can get your Part 107, but that's not going to prevent you from going outside and still messing up and flying into a tree. So it's really the hands-on training, which is built into our company as well, that people need.
Yep, definitely. Practical experience is super important when it comes to flying. So another thing that I've heard from your company, and I know you're from Texas, is that I know some flyers over there that talk to us all the time, is that you guys love giving away stickers. What's the story behind that?
We do. We love giving away stickers. Anyone listening can go to our website, droneparksworldwide.com, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and fill out that form and get stickers. I know it says there's a wait list right now, but I'll void it for 2 weeks and then let all the FPV people get their stickers sooner. But yeah, I mean, we love giving out stickers to people. I think about a year ago, right, Marge? About a year ago, when we were just a little baby company, not even a baby, we were a little embryonic company. We were like, what can we just give, constantly give to people? And we're like, I mean, people
Our
do lanyards. Yeah. People have lanyards, and those are kind of stupid. I mean, people wouldn't really want to do tattoos, and what can we give? And we're like, let's just give stickers to everybody. So we go everywhere we go, we have these stickers, and we've actually, I want to say about 8-9 months ago, we started giving them out online, and it all started with one post, and I was like, Marge, it's just going to be one post, it'll be okay, it's just gonna be one post.
I knew where this was headed.
She knew exactly where this was going. I was like, Marge, it's just one post, okay?
It all starts that way.
We'll just see how many people we get in a week.
It's just one shot.
We'll just see how many people we get in a week. and then it turned into like we're constantly giving out stickers through our website, and then about 2 weeks ago it went viral, and we got basically over 2,000 requests in 3 days, and it was crazy.
That's a lot of stamps,
And
man.
mind you,
Holy
Yeah,
cow.
and mind you, we are hand packing these envelopes. So I'm waking up to texts now saying like, "Hey Marge, can I go and get like stamps? Like, what do you think about this?" I'm like, the stickers, I mean, the stickers are awesome. I'm gonna say I love our logo. I hope other people do too. But it's just a little gift to be with that person and make them think, or like hopefully they'll think of us.
Yeah. There's like two cool parts of it. It's like one is like, I'll say this and I'll say kind of why we like it so much as well. Is like we've sent these things like everywhere. Like in all honesty, like we track some of the data, and like not specifically, but just like by state, by
country,
yeah. And
by planet. Interstellar stickers over here.
We've sent them to Algeria, Morocco, South Africa, Italy,
Uzbekistan, Germany, India,
the Philippines, Kazakhstan. Like crazy countries, like places that I barely even knew existed. But it's kind of cool though, because like our logo, like if you look at it, it's kind of symbolic insofar as like it's really just not another, like, sorry to sound so cynical, it's not another shitty startup logo, where we just take the first two letters of our name and make them swirly. Our logo actually stands for something, and like what it stands for is that it's a 3D modeled infinity sign. But then it has these kind of green tails coming off of it, and the infinity sign represents the infinite possibilities of drones and what they can do, and like the infinite kind of good vibes. That sounds really hippie, but the infinitely good vibes they can give people. And then the green kind of represents the energy of Marjorie and I, but also the energy of the drone community. So it's kind of a cool little thing. So it's not just, for us, it's not just like self-promotion. It's also like, let's help spread kind of part of the joy of what we view flying a quad as. So
that's pretty cool. And
that's
everybody loves stickers. Everybody loves stickers.
Exactly. Everybody loves stickers.
Elvin, he's actually on the webpage right now. He's like, I need 500 stickers.
Why do you tell people that?
He's like, I'm gonna plaster these babies all over Oregon. He's like,
that's exactly what he does. That's what he's doing. He's doing it right now. Hey, I'm putting in my orders for stickers
on
too.
the list right now. Shit.
Yep, I'm putting in my orders too.
I'll get you guys tomorrow, man.
I guarantee every city that we've been in, we've left our mark literally.
Yeah.
And whenever there's the cool little areas in a city that are all stickered up, hipstery, we're plastering them all over the city. So if we've been there, you will see it.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's true.
That's pretty cool.
It's like my side hobby, because like we live in the suburbs of Houston, where you never drive over the median, and you're always supposed to follow the law and whatnot. I mean, especially like to the highest degree, and so like putting stickers everywhere is so fun because it's like so rebellious and just feels so wrong. Yes.
Why does it feel so wrong if it's so right?
Yeah,
just put it on the back of every stop sign. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, every bumper. Shit, slap it on.
Hold on. Every bumper. Now you're gonna get into a place where you might get in trouble. But let's go ahead and move on before we get in trouble with stickers. So now, obviously, this is everybody's working some angle in terms of trying to start a drone business. So when we do that, almost every business wants to feel unique in a certain way or have a different approach. What would you say is your unique or different approach to try to stand out between all of your competitors?
Yeah, I mean, I think what really makes us unique is that we just really just want to provide structure and safety to the drone community, but to the public as well. Marjorie, you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I think when the public thinks of drones in the entertainment aspect, what exists currently is a community that they're a spectator for, like NASCAR. They can watch drone racing, But let's be real. We all don't just want to watch drone racing or watch car racing. We want that chance to get behind the wheel and experience the adrenaline rush. So our goal is to enable people to experience the FPV technology and the fun, the out of body experience, the craziness that this community is. Give them the chance to be a star in their own world. Give them an experience, not a product, not a not possibly down in the future, maybe a drone itself, but an experience. When you walk in, you feel something. And that's why I got started in this in the first place. I mean, I don't want to segue here too much, but I will never forget the first time I was in some rinky-dink field in the back of a middle school outside of Houston, and the feeling of putting on those FPV goggles was addictive. It was nuts. And the healing, I sound like such a hippie right now, but the healing power of this technology, because it's a drug in a good way.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Now, when did you start this company? Exactly around what time? Just an estimate.
Yeah, so I started the project going into my senior year of high school. So that was the summer of 2015.
Summer of 2015. Okay,
yeah.
so now, I mean, you guys sell yourselves as a startup company. So what have you learned in terms of, going from startup to like trying to be recognized and getting, fundraising and stuff like that? Is there any major learning experiences?
God, I mean, countless. I mean,
give us your top three. Both of you. Come on, Nick. You can do it. Man, I'm putting you on the spot.
I think it began with a learning experience of kind of the roadmap of this company was like in summer of 2015, July 2015, I had this idea. I was like, the world needs a safe space to fly like drones in. And I remember the day so explicitly because I was working at this law firm down in Houston. And so I had to commute about an hour every day, and I came home and I was totally daydreaming when I was driving on the way home, and I came home and I was like, Mom, don't talk to me. I was like, Mom, and I should explain as well. Like, I live in a single parent household, so my mom and I are really close. I'm like, Mom, don't talk to me. I was just like, don't talk to me for the rest of the night. And I just went in my study and I started sketching stuff, and kind of the roadmap at that time was like, I was going to go file a patent around this idea for kind of this drone park and stuff that would go along with it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to file this patent. Which I did, in February of 2016, and I was like, it'll protect me forever. And then, the first three people I meet are like, your patent's not worth the paper it's printed on, dude. And I'm like, oh. Right. So that was a huge lesson of I guess the only true way to really protect an idea is just to go out there and just do it.
Do something.
So I don't know. What was your margin? Now it's your turn. You do your your lessons.
Okay, so
we'll just ping pong off each other.
Okay, so I would say, I was always an athlete. I did sports from the time I was 5 years old. I did a lot of them. I became successful in a lot of them. I was recruited to the United States Naval Academy for rowing. Loved it. Just fed off the adrenaline. And one of the things that I learned in sports one of the sports that I did was rowing. And in high school, I rowed with one other person in the boat. So there were two of us. And the boat would not move without both people rowing, the oars synchronously, rowing at the same time, at the same rate, and following the same directions. And I thought that I had learned everything there was to learn about working with one other person so intensely every day, in and out. And I was wrong. I think there is no experience possibly other than marriage that a person can learn about how to work with another person so intensely, day in, day out, fights, tears of joy, all of it. Families, money involved, happiness, everything. There's everything. It's not just, we are not our company just when we put our shirt on. And that's why I introduce myself as I am the company. I'm not part of it. I am it. If Nick and I decide right now to put down the computer, to walk away from this interview, to not go and host that birthday party, there is no company. There is no company without us. We are the company. And if we don't work together and trust each other and just get through it, there is no company. And that's been a crazy challenge, especially so young. I'm the older of the two. I'm 24.
She's really old.
Everyone, you guys.
I didn't say a thing. Elvin's old.
I'm the older of the two.
Oh my gosh.
I think that plays into my other 2 points I was going to say, which is like, that's one thing I realized really early on as well, is like business is hard. Creating stuff is hard. You know what I mean? Like, for most people, like, surviving is like the hardest thing they do, especially here, like in the suburbs of like, and there's nothing wrong with surviving. Like get the car, get the house, get the family, and like that's it. But I think to really try to go out there and try to build something and try to change something is just such a hard thing to do, and people really underestimate that. But I think people also like really underestimate products as well. Of like when you buy like a water bottle, right? People forget how much planning goes into that water bottle. People think about the plastics.
Just tell me more about how operations is important, Nick. Please talk about how operations are important right now. Everybody, by the way, I'm the operations officer. So preach to the choir. Keep doing it.
No, but like people forget how like people don't like. It's hard to see that without trying to create something. Of like with a water bottle, you have to think about the plastics for the lid. You have to think about the plastics for the bottle. You got to think about the packaging. You got to think about the water, where you're going to get water from. And so it's like, but it's so easy just to buy a bottle and drink it and throw it away and just forget about it. And I think that was one of the things I saw was like, we kind of ran into this like, yeah, let's go create a drone park. Woo! It'll be like so easy and we'll have a space and stuff. And then we're like, oh shit, like there's so much to this, man. And like nothing against like other startups and other entrepreneurs, and I think they're great, but like I think it's much different when you create something like an app or a website service or something where it's mostly coding. I think this is a very different venture. So I think it wasn't just a battle of knowledge for a startup. It was a battle for just truly something that has never existed like this before, which is what I really truly believe is what we are, is something that really has never existed before. So, yeah.
Cool. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right.
Do I get the limelight?
You get the limelight.
The spotlight's on you.
All right. So, was that your second one, Nick?
That was my second. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, then I'm going to do my second one. Okay. One word that I thought I knew what it meant until I started a startup. Humility. And you both shake your heads.
Hey, I have a startup company too. I probably have two at this point. So
for all you people out there, both of them perfect, just like in sync. They just nod their heads and bite their lips. They're like, "Yep."
Sometimes it's hard to do that.
It's like they know it's coming. So I've often thought. So I have quite a few friends from college and high school that are still around, and I've often thought to myself, and I have these conversations with them, how do I explain what I do to my friends? Because it's a difficult thing to grasp when you've grown up in a structured environment with school and sports and family, and you know when the weekend is, you know when your off time is, you know who cooks dinner, all of these things. And now a lot of my friends have jobs and they know where their money's coming from. They know what they have to do to, as Nick said, survive and find happiness, try to find happiness along the way.
Well, I think for many people, like, surviving is happiness. You know what I mean? But anyway, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Don't steal the limelight, Nick.
March.
Yeah, I see one of you likes the spotlight, and the other one is annoyed that the other one is in it.
I feel like that's both of us, though. We both just get on each other.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
good. It's a driving force. That's what it seems like.
So
It is good.
I feel like it's more teasing than any. I hope it's more teasing. I hope this is coming across as teasing and not like bullying.
No.
Okay,
You're good.
All right, so
Old can't bully, so
huh?
old people can't bully.
Oh my God, here we go. Let me
You are
just grab
so
my
dead tonight.
walker.
Yeah, you're
Let
so
me just
dead
grab my
tonight.
walker and come in and hit you with it.
Dude, I'm on fire, man.
So humility. So I tell my friends, imagine you walk into work and you're the only one there and you have to sit in every single seat and make sure that every job is done or else the company will fail. You will not have any money and you're going to have to go out and become, get any job that you can. And I don't think this was, and I said to my friend the other night, I said, she is an officer in the Navy. She flies P-8 Orions, and she's stationed in Washington, and she was a friend from the Naval Academy. And I asked her, she's married, I said, tell me, would you and your husband do your job and show up to work and do it with as much enthusiasm if you were not being paid anything? If you were not being paid, would you still do your job? And I think that's a really tough question for a lot of people because the answer most likely is no. Her answer was no. It's a really tough thing being in the military. And as Elvin knows, whose father held every hat in the military, apparently. And I think most people's answers would be no. And so I think you have to learn how to define success in a different way. There is no ladder. We're building that ladder to climb. There is no steady paycheck. There is no tangible form of success, which I, as an athlete, was so used to. There's no audience watching you, seeing you succeed, defining that success for you. And you have to prove out your model. And that is very hard, especially for us. We can talk about this maybe later, but we were in Austin a couple weeks ago for Maker Faire. And it was very hard dealing with the overwhelming volume of interest, which is really a good thing. But, being there as a volunteer, working those 9 hours and changing batteries. Our 9 hours was spent changing batteries and entertaining kids and dealing with parents who were not happy with the way that we were running things. And I'm over here like raising my hand. One time we had to stop and say, people, we appreciate your patience. We are here as volunteers. I want you to have fun so much. And it's very humbling to learn that you are working for a cause and not for a paycheck.
And I think my third thing was kind of plays perfectly off of that. And the reason I want to say this is because I think this is something that like not only entrepreneurs can put into practice, but everybody as well, everyone hearing this right now is like, I really learned that egos kill people. And more importantly, like egos don't just kill people, they kill other people, they kill ideas, they kill companies, they kill everything. There was kind of one point towards the very beginning of this, thankfully, where I was like, dude, like, I'm 18, my business card says founder, CEO, like, we're talking to these venture capitalists, dude, we're fucking balling right now, man. And I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And then it was just like, I was like, feet on the ground. Like, you can't think like that, you can't kind of think along those tenets and stuff. And I think that's a really interesting thing right now, kind of for the drone community, is like, I think that we're getting old enough as a community to think about ourselves and kind of almost develop an ego, and I think like you look at some things that happen like out in the field and stuff, and like, a lot of it is due to ego, which is really sad and stuff. So I think my third piece of advice is just like, every day is a battle with your ego, of like, at the end of the day, we're all just human beings. We're all animals. We're all just living on this giant rock, of like, it's not going to matter what you think of yourself. It's not going to matter, if you look cool or not. Like, all that matters is that you're good to people. And I think that's a big thing I learned is like, no matter what happens, you always just have to be good. And you can't be egotistical without killing people and killing ideas and killing things. So, yeah. I know it's really, really doomy and gloomy, Marjorie. Our doomy and gloomy is getting passed off to Marjorie.
I'll say this that a lot of people, what I look at it as being like a volunteer. Soup kitchen. You're there to help and do as much as you can. But you're not there to intervene. You know what I mean? You're not there to change the way things are. You're there to help feed the people. You're not there to change anyone's life. You're there for that moment to be a crutch. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how I see like me when I'm helping other people here in Portland. Like I had a guy got his thing stuck up in the tree the other day, and I told him, "Hey, just come get the stuff," Yeah. But he went and got his own. He thought the idea was such a great idea. He's like, "I'm gonna go buy my own stuff so I can do it again." So it's kind of like, even though I didn't go and help him, I fed him into that procedure of doing that.
Yeah, and like best example I can think of, right, of like what really drove this lesson home to me is like, if you think back to our history, like as a community and stuff, of like, look at the death of one very prominent racing league. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I don't want to say it, just because I don't want to piss anybody off, but think about the death of that racing league and like why it happened. It purely happened for egotistical reasons. Ego killed that racing league. You had people throwing flags. You had a great team. You had a great organization. You had a great marketing base, right? Mm-hmm. And everything was in line, but it was just ego killed it. That's
so we've been told from sources. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've talked to several people who've been insiders at these things, and they've said the exact same thing. Ego is what killed it. So anyway, okay. Yeah. Keep going, Mark.
Last one. Come on. Make it good.
Last one. Make it good. All right. This is my little go-to saying. You have to keep your feet fully planted on the ground with your head fully in the clouds. And that is a challenge that is very unique to a startup. You are every day waking up for a dream in the most fanciful sense. It is a non-tangible dream yet. And you can't let anybody tell you that it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. But you also can't let that dream get kill the reality. The reality is you need money. The reality is the day-to-day logistics, the hand packing sticker envelopes. For everybody who's ever gotten a sticker from us, we did it because of the dream. But was the hand packing, running to the post office for the 1,000th time, printing out a letter and hand signing it for hours on end, was that necessarily fun? No, but you can't overlook those boring logistics that go along with it. The fact that you need money, the fact that it won't happen unless you are realistic. And I think Nick and I have worked really hard with each other he's the dreamer and I'm the realist. I'll say it like that. He's a dreamer, I'm the realist. And one of the hardest things for me has been to learn how to dream and dream big. Dream big. And I mean, I got out of college and Nick and I met up. We went to the same high school. And I went, the second college I went to was the University of Pennsylvania up in Philadelphia. And when I graduated, I came back home and, I had come from a prestigious university with structure and with expectations. And I come home and here's this 18-year-old kid driving around town saying, oh, look at that plot of land. That's where we could build a drone park. And the audacity baffled me, but also inspired me. And that is the type of audacity and ballsiness that you have to have. But then that dream needed reality as well. And so I learned to dream, and Nick learned, I think, if I can speak for him, how to know that there are operations that need to be done, know that it's not going to happen just off of the idea. So,
by the way, Elvin, we just got your sticker request, dude.
I knew it.
Why you weren't kidding when he was on there? He's like,
I knew
it. Busted.
I can't do it because I'm recording stuff.
Elvin
but
so and so says so and so lives at so and so. It's like, all right.
Yeah, and he requested 5,000 stickers. Now,
should we broadcast your home address?
Yeah.
Wow.
Even though it's probably on the internet already. No big
It is.
deal.
We'll keep that a secret. All right.
Hey,
Elvin?
hey, I'm the guy. Wait. Why? I'm gonna intervene here for a moment. I'm the guy that guys come to town and they let me know they're coming. They say, hey, man, I'd like to fly with you. And I go and pick them up, or go find them wherever they're at in the city, and I'll go fly with them. And, we just had a guy come to town, Sean Dolan, came to Portland, Oregon last weekend, and to visit his family. And I took him, he brought his tiny whoop, and I had an extra baby hawk at the time, and I took him out and let him fly it, and he's buying him a baby hawk. So that's the kind of stuff I do. I don't just fix people's stuff and help them with this. I also step out of my house and come out and visit and hang out with guys. I love doing those kind of things. This is one of the things I love about this hobby. It's so opening when you have the opportunity to be there for others.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's so tight. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Sorry. And that's one of the huge things Marjorie and I have found in the last year is we've just been so touched by how drones can bring people together, and how much people just revolve around this just being nice and stuff and whatnot. So, yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to give you a couple that I've learned real quick. And Elvin, think fast because I'm going to ask you to at least give one. So in my startup, and I think I started about the same time you did, the top 3, I'm just going to list them real quick and then we'll move on to the next subject. There's one.
No, dude, I know we took a really long time answering that question, so I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It was, good stuff. But one, document your procedures, because there are so many times I've reinvented the wheel because I suck at documenting. Documentation, it's really helpful, guys. Number 2, have somebody on your team that can actually sell stuff, because a lot of people think that salesmen make too much money. Until you try to really sell something, you don't realize how hard it is. It's one of the hardest things that I think I had to do. And number 3, I agree with Marjorie on this one, is that you can't lower your dreams, but you always have to be the one doing all the groundwork and paving the way to that dream. And that can be exhausting, which means you got to really take care of your health, because I'm sure you two know this, but I'm sure you've worked till 3 a.m. in the morning on nights that you should not be doing that, only to wake up at 6 a.m. to meet somebody important for a meeting, and it's not good for your health.
Yeah, dude. The startups really... Startups, it's like smoking a pack a day. It kind of takes its toll on you after a while. But
yeah.
And you know what? Okay, you just raised one point that I really wanted to make as well, of a huge piece of advice I've learned. I think it's just so important that I know I'm going over, but I have to say it anyway, which is realize that no matter what you're doing, everything revolves around science. You know what I mean? And realize that our lives are just kind of the spectrum of, to me, they're spectrums of various science that can be applied in various places. You know what I mean? And everything just goes back to science. And I was always a science kid. I love science and math to a certain degree, of everything you do in our lives can go back to science, anyway, but yeah, that's my 2 cents, but yeah.
No, cool. Elvin, you got one you want to add in there?
I think if you're going to sell something, the salesman has to believe in the product. I mean, that's the thing. Like you know, selling is it can be easier if you believe in the product. If you don't believe in it, then it's harder to convince others to believe in something that you don't believe in. You know what I mean? But if you do, man, it can get easy. That I can tell you. If you really
I
love
know,
what you're
man.
doing, you'll
Okay.
sell a crap out of it.
That's really good. Yeah, that's really good advice.
Always believe in your own product. And if you don't believe in it, go back to the table and work on it some
Yeah,
more.
because you ain't done yet.
Because you ain't done yet. So now, one of the things that you said, which is really interesting, is that obviously in those 2 years of working, you've gone to a lot of startups. And before the podcast, you talked to me about being at an entrepreneur shop called Collision. So tell me what the reception is when you tell people about your startup company. Has it increased? Has it decreased? Or are people like still the same?
Oh, it's great. I think it's, every time we tell people what they're doing, they're like, oh my God, that is so cool, because like, I think, like most startups really are just kind of software based things that, I don't want to say they're thrown together, but um, in my view, there's a reason startup failures are so high and so prominent, but um, people are like so amazed by it. I mean, honestly, they're like, oh my God, that is so cool. Like honestly, like the best analogy I could think for it would be to like, if you look at like early exploration, and this is going to sound really cheesy, but just stick with me. Like, if you look at like early exploration of the world, right? Of like, like Europeans were going out and they were getting things like zebras and lions and giraffes, and they were bringing them back to like this European population, and then the population lost their minds. Like, I mean, could you imagine seeing a giraffe, not knowing a giraffe existed? And they just lost their minds, and it was the next craziest thing. I mean, that's like if someone went to the moon and brought back a unicorn. Um, so, I mean, that's the only thing I could really think of that could parallel people's excitement about this. Of like,
Mhm.
they really treat us amazed. I mean, they have their concerns. We're like, they're like, oh, that sounds really capital intensive, which it is. And that sounds like a real estate type of thing, and which it is. And whatnot, but to a certain degree. But yeah, for the most part, they're amazed by it. And I think we've really seen an interesting change in the way people perceive drone. But Marge, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So when we were at Collision, I think there were two populations of people who could receive us. The first is the general public, and the reception is overwhelming. Overwhelming. And the train of thought goes like this. Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, can I wear the goggles? Oh my God, can I fly it? And that's exactly what we want. We want people to say, "This is so cool. Now I want to try." The
But like,
second, yeah, go ahead.
that's not only what we want as a startup and as a company, but like that's what we want as a community as well.
Exactly. To have people see that it's not that drones are not, weapons of war, or they're not unsafe, or they're not going to spy on you. They can be, and what we bring is the tiny whip. We bring the tiny whip to these things because they're safe and easy to fly around, and they can be platforms for education, platforms for fun, platforms for community building, and not just these crazy extreme sports that you have to be a spectator for. So that's that. And then the other community is the business community. And their reaction is, yeah, this is really awesome. Let me see what I have that can contribute to your endeavor. And one of the challenges that we have to overcome is a lot of the people in the business community are commercially focused, and industry focused, and are not as avant-garde as the people on the startup side. And so one of the women who was on stage, I can't remember who she was or what she did, but she said, I asked myself 3 questions when I invest. is this the right time? And she said, usually no, it's the right time. Excuse Nick.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, she said, usually you'll know it's the right time when these people who walked into my office are not the only ones who see the need, are not the only ones trying to do this. So is it the right time? Is this the right team? Do I trust these people? And the third one is this the right company? And so those three questions are in line with what the business community will ask themselves. But how can you answer those questions if you're not in touch with the community itself? And that is the challenge that we so try to overcome. When we bring in the tiny whip into the room, we say, don't say a word. I'm Marjorie, I'm Nick, put the goggles on. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Let me show you what this does. And
the first little bit is free.
Right. The first one's free. The next one's $10.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. But it's like, seriously, it's like the story of how Oculus got sold. Oculus, who makes the VR goggles now, was sold for over $1 billion within 2 years of being founded, which is extremely rare in the world of startups. As I'm sure you know why. And the way they did it was their CEO, Oculus' CEO, he emailed Zuckerberg and he's like, "Yo, let's meet." And Zuckerberg's like, "No, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah." He's like, he just shows up to Zuckerberg's office. He's like, "Put these goggles on." Zuckerberg's like, "No." He's like, just shut up, put the goggles on. So he puts the goggles on, does VR, puts the goggles on the table. And he's like, "So $1 billion for the company?" and that's how Oculus was bought, but that's the same way we're trying to sell drones to people. Like, sell as in convince that they're not just weapons of war, but I think it's been really fascinating to see, because by interacting with all these people, we've been able to witness how their perceptions of drones have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't really realize, but I think in a way Houston's a very extreme place insofar as and we've been able to see it in other regions as well. Like when we went to Boston to go do MIT, we saw it there. We see it everywhere in Texas. We saw it in Louisiana when we were there. When you say oh yeah, we want to build a drone facility, a year ago, people were like, "Oh, cool. So you're going to spy on people and, kill people in the Middle East." And seriously, they would look at you with a straight face and say that. But then, today, and as of probably between 6 and 8 months ago, you say that, people are like, "Oh, that's so cool. I saw drone racing on TV and I saw they have these really small ones now." And people, the whole connotation of it is just completely changed. And that's just been so fascinating to see. Anyway, but yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. One of the things that I've seen a lot of benefits to doing in terms of a demo is I'll get people that really don't understand what the attraction to a drone is, and I will bring a kid who is actually very good at flying one, and I says, "Here, let me introduce this kids to your kids, and I want you to see the effect." So what happens is that he'll show up, he'll start flying, and all of the other kids will just gravitate towards him. And then you see this attraction of them wanting to do it too. And that's when and then you go talk to the adults. It's like, this is what I'm talking about. And when they see it, it clicks with them. They're like, "Oh, I understand now." And then hopefully they'll be interested enough to try it on themselves and get attracted. Some do, some don't. But I can tell the difference in terms of the younger ages. Once something starts flying, the attraction is magnetic. It just comes.
Oh my God. Yeah. With the young,
And I don't know, Marjorie and we actually gave a TED talk about this. What was it, Marge? A month ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. Startups blur time, but yeah, we actually gave a TED talk about this about a month and a half ago at Texas A&M. And our TED talk's not out yet, but once it's out, we'll release it to everybody and produce. But basically kind of the subject was we're drones are vehicles of exploration, which I think for many people they are. Drones have become a vehicle of exploration to explore the skies, while this sounds corny, but stick with me, but kind of while exploring ourselves as well, of what do we like to do, and what do we like to find in other people, and how can we make friendships? So yeah, I mean, like we said in our TED Talk, drones are a vehicle of exploration.
I
But
agree
yeah.
with you because what you see is it's all over YouTube, right? I mean, that's what essentially what freestyle is on YouTube is that they go to a place and they're exploring it in different ways, right? You go to a
Yeah.
park, but if you can explore it three-dimensionally and show it to the world, people are interested. That's where all the views are. If you look on YouTube, racing isn't getting the views. It's the people doing freestyle that's showing you new and different ways to look at a certain area that's getting all the views.
Yeah, really, really good comment there. It's true. One of the first periscopes Nick and I shot there was actually a storm, and it was crazy to be sitting there on the ground and yet watching the storm from 500 feet up or 400 feet up, not 500 feet up, 400.
Mhm.
I didn't say that.
She's breaking the
400.
rules. She's breaking the rules. No, I'm kidding.
If you're from the FAA, please turn this podcast off at this time.
She was AGL.
She was talking in inches.
Yeah. She was talking to AGL. Thank you.
Exactly. There we go. So yeah, drones. Seeing how the public's perception of drones is changing and what it means and how we as a company can embody that moving forward.
Definitely. Now, when you were at the Makers Fair, you kind of already told this a little bit. What were you doing there? Were you just like had a small little area and allow the public to fly? Is that kind of what you do at Makers Fair? Because I know that when you go to Makers Fair, there's a lot of interest in technology. I mean, that's the purpose of Makers Fair.
I'll let Marjorie, the architect of our brilliant operations at Maker Fair, tell you.
Oh, what were we doing at Maker Fair?
Besides being completely exhausted.
And I got the flu. I got the flu for Maker Fair too, so I got the double whammy.
So, Maker Fair. Before I launch into the story, I'll sum it up because sometimes my stories can go on. Maker Fair was an incredible place to learn about how we are perceived and how we can best deliver our services and our experience to the maximum number of people while maintaining our quality. So it was a really good R&D platform for us as a company, and a really good, time of learning as individuals, especially me as operations. So the first day we show up, and we are there as volunteers, taking suggestions from the organizers of the fair and what was set up. And I think this was a good learning experience in the best laid plans can still go to shit. We had spoken with with the organizers on how the flow of a volume of attendees would go through our kind of experience. The first step was signing up for a time slot to fly your drone. Then you show up at the time slot that you were assigned, and the first step is for 3 minutes to fly a drone that is tethered with a wire to a metal base. Now, this is super janky. These metal bases we just found around the convention center.
They could have been coffins for what we know. We have no idea.
And so kids and adults as well were flying these drones attached to the bases. And then the next step was to go and fly a drone inside of a netted cage. That was, I would say, maybe 20 feet by 20 feet and maybe 40 feet high.
Wow.
So
it's pretty tall.
All sounds great. Yeah, it was pretty tall. It went all the way up to the top of the convention center, and it was completely netted. And
except for the top. The top was not netted.
No, that's not true. It was netted.
No. Marjorie, because it was not netted. Because there were crazy side note, right? There were I kid you not, 3 people that flew up over this thing, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. They flew up over this thing through the rafters in the convention center, which I honestly don't even think I could do, or a really great pilot could do. And then they they would just like fall, and I'm like, what the hell are these people doing? Like, it was insane. And there was one that scared me because like right next to us, our friend from Austin, Chef PV Troy Naquin of Zero Grounds, he set up this big beautiful yes, Troy, that was a plug. Anyway, this big beautiful racetrack, and like this kid flew up with this Cyma through the Raptors and like landed in his safety area, and like I was like, dude, like, all right, thanks for coming, see you later. It was crazy. Anyway,
so yeah, no. So essentially, this net was the net of torture. It was the net of fear. It was the net that encapsulated all of my worst fears as an operations officer. The drones, we were using Cymas, and we put the prop guards on them, and every time the drone is getting caught in the net, it was the worst. It was the worst. No, do not set up a net and allow people to fly in it unless it is like unless you can just reach up and untangle it from the net. But still, it's going to completely disrupt the flow of people coming in. And then to top it off, to make things even better, our volunteers, we were assigned volunteers, innocent volunteers. Okay.
And very innocent. They just showed up, big bright eyes. They're like, hello, how can I help? And we're like, we're overflowing with people. Grab a drone and get to work. And there's like bombs going off in the background and explosions and stuff.
So these guys were in the cage of doom. Okay, they were in the cage of doom. Their job was to pick the drone up if it flipped over, to untangle the prop from the net, to use a extendable pool pole to kind of try to get it out of the net. At one point, there was
extremely talented engineers built that.
At one point, one of our like 70-year-old volunteers is on the top step of this ladder trying to get a Cyma out of the net. I looked at Nick. I was like, someone's gonna die today. Like this kid, this is not good. Not good. At one point, I step out and I'm like sitting next to the trash cans in the hallway, just like pondering my life and how I ended up here. And
huge success. Somebody dies. No, that's not good.
I think we were shell shocked. We were shell shocked the first day.
Yeah. I mean, Maker Faire was great. We walked in there with a plan, and then people were just like, teach me how to fly, you know? And it was like really interesting because like what kind of happened there was like people would go and watch like the Zero Grounds FPV thing, which is an LED race course. I think it was sponsored by LED Light Tracks, and he had some great pilots there. He had Gars, he had Gil, he had Ricky White, some really, Adam and Envy Astro, some really fast, great pilots. And so what happened?
Can't forget Ribozoid.
Ribozoid, yeah, there you go.
He's the shit.
He is. And Lunatic and stuff. And so that people would come and they would watch them for like one or two heats. And then like literally in swarms. It was incredible. In swarms, people would come over and they'd just be like, teach me how to fly a drone, which is awesome, but it just overwhelmed us and it just made all of our plans to go to shit. But
we had a wait list that was 4 pages long, and people would come back at the time that we told them, and we wouldn't be ready for them. We had, right. I mean, I'm telling you, we had people yelling. It was a total catastrophe. But you know what? We're still here, and we're able to raise our hand and say, we totally, we learned. We totally messed up. We did everything wrong, and we've learned from it. Mm-hmm. And so we went home Saturday night and we looked at each other, and Nick was like, Marge, you are operations. I'm going to let you do your job right now, and let's see what we can deal with tomorrow. So we talked it over, and our conclusion was to screw, pardon my language, the net. Do not do a net. We had we moved the tethered drones into the net, set the tables against the net, and had no waiting list. You wait in line, and if you want to fly, you wait in line. We took 4 people at a time. The volunteers were in the cage. Their job was to change batteries, and we made sure that the diameter of the circle that the drones could, I'm getting into math here, but the drones could not untangle with each other. So it was glorious. No yelling. It was fun. Kids had fun, smiles on faces. But, it just took one day to try our first plan. And then the next day we learned from our mistakes and did it better. And that was awesome we learned about the logistics because this is a very operationally intensive company, and we want our first stab at a park to be to go well. So we want to make sure that we're making our mistakes now.
Definitely. And yeah, I have a similar story with us volunteering to let middle schoolers and high schoolers fly in a gym, and it was the longest 6 hours of my life and
no more.
Yeah. I went in with 6 tiny whoops, and I think I came out with 2 of them that worked.
Oh,
wow.
It is what it is, as they say. And I completely understand. But you know what? It also shows proof of concept, right? You know that there's a market and there's interest. So that's a win, in my opinion. So that's cool, though, to see that you came back the second day and worked it all out in one day, because that's hard to do. I'm gonna be really be the first one to admit.
It was all Marjorie. I was like, I don't want to. I was like, I don't want to mess with this. This is you. I mean, I use the excuse she's the operations, but it was all Marjorie. So that was our recovery there was all her. So.
Aw, geez, I'm blushing over here.
Oh, that's good. We can't see you, but we'll take your word for it.
I was merely the guy that said thousands of times, okay, your left thumb is throttle. Don't move your left thumb left or right, because that causes you to yaw. Your right thumb is bank, okay? Move your right thumb forward to go forward.
No, it's always a team effort, Nick. It's always a team effort, and it was his, it was his learning experience to look at me and say, you know what, Marge, I didn't let you. We as a team did not let you take more control.
You good, Alvin? You good?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm just thinking. I was just thinking that
he's over here like hands together like he's praying,
meditating.
No. I am Miyagi.
I was like, did you have a bad experience at a Maker Faire one time too?
No.
I was like, I'd be praying right now too.
Yeah.
No, I actually I did a Maker's Faire in 2015 with a company up here. They make a multi-rotor, and I worked it with them, and it was very successful. And we also had one of the first drone races. It was a drone challenge. It was an obstacle course here at OMSI here in Portland. But what I was thinking was, here's a case where you could utilize a training radio. The radio, so you can cut certain functions off. So you give a guy stick movements, only the right stick at first, right? So you let him now balance it. If you can balance it, then I'll move you to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was just thinking of. That's all I was thinking.
I was actually talking to Chris Garza, who's one of our really good friends, and Garza's a great guy.
Oh my God, he came over and started flying the Simas inside the cage. Yeah. I was like, can we please get this on video? Garz flying a Sima in our learn how to fly a drone cage.
I mean, you got one of the fastest dudes in Texas just ripping this cage with a Sima, and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching Jesus walk on water right now. This is incredible. But no, he said a really good thing about that, actually, Alvin. He said, what they did at DR1 was they got controllers and they just rubber banded the left throttle down. So I thought that was a really interesting idea. But yeah, great idea though.
No, buddy box system is great so long as you can have enough pilots buddy boxing each lane.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, see, here's the thing though. Everybody wants to build a software company because it's easy to scale. Anytime you build a regular company, yes,
preach,
resources.
Preach.
Resources are hard and scarce, and you have to use them very, very efficiently. I
Right.
hate to say that, but it's the truth. It's really hard to scale when you don't have a software company because it's
Yeah, you
scarcity.
got that right, dude.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next subject, even though we probably talked to this forever. Like, since you've been in business for 2 years, what have you seen the most growth in? Like, where are you guys headed in terms of growth, and where you want your company to be at?
Yeah, I mean, I think our growth is just headed towards what we've always been after, which is an actual facility. For the very kind of short-sighted phase that we're in of like, I mean, yeah, that's really where our growth is headed towards, just a actual physical facility to just build the damn thing. I mean, that's something we've been saying since day one, is just build the damn thing. And yeah, and in whatever form that would take, let it take it. And let's just get out there and get people flying and get packs burning. So yeah.
Now you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, entertainment really is what we see as the kind of the most, we can reach the most people through entertainment because it frankly does not require as many resources. It's we give you an experience while you're here, and you're not here to to learn how to be a commercial pilot per se at first. And so our first park is probably going to focus more on the entertainment side of things, and that's where we see the highest demand right now, just from our experience. Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, definitely, I would have to agree with you on that. So, what challenges have you, faced trying to get that off the ground?
I mean, I think all of our challenges can just be summed up by, every startup says this, but I think that we really mean it. Just because, I mean, there really is. There's nothing else like this out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's similar things that have been done and that are successful, like, for example, Topgolf, or, for example, the NFL, to a certain degree, but there's nothing that we can just take the rule book and just make it. The way I view this is I view it as if we're on a completely new planet in a boat, or wandering the shores or whatever, and we're just trying to build a map. So
and try to convince other people that map is correct while we're making it.
Exactly. Of like, we're exploring a completely new world. We're trying to map it out so we can get through it successfully, and other people can get through it successfully. And I think it's just been taking the wrong turn, and not knowing where we are, and trying to figure out, is everything right? Is everything where it needs to be? And, the puzzle pieces are coming together, and that's really glorious to see. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand that, because if you look at how DRL did it, right, they have their CEO that was, he was proven to be able to build a sport, right? So he already knew the contacts and people already believed in him. So he had the short road. When you're starting off in the entrepreneurial world, if you don't have a proven company that you've already built, you have the long ladder, right? And the slide down is really long, and there's a lot more slides than there are ladders,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another challenge is we've learned here in Houston, especially, that having the right people on our board, having the right mentors, having the right guidance. We need people who have, as you just said, experience in sports, experience in entertainment, experience in operational heavy companies and capital expense intensive companies. And we were working with a VC firm, and they were awesome here in Houston. We love them, but they were. Their experience was very industry and oil and gas related, and it was our relationship. We just realized that we weren't right for each other, and we would walk out of meetings, and they would be just as frustrated with us as we would be with them, and neither of us kind of knew what to do with the other. And we didn't know why at the time, but we know why now, because there has to be the right people And not just because you're a VC doesn't mean you're right for us. Just because you want to invest doesn't mean you're right for us.
Yeah.
We had a seed offer in the first 2 or 3 months, I can't remember, of officially being a company. And at the time we weren't sure if we were right to turn it down. But looking back, I think our company would be in a very different place if we had, so to speak, gotten in bed with these people that we just didn't feel right with. So that's a challenge too.
You touched on something which was really interesting, which is like DRL. And like, okay, I want to disclaimer this of like, I think DRL is amazing. I don't know Nick personally. And if you don't know Nick as their founder, CEO, I don't know Nick personally. I've heard really great things about him. And I hope I have the privilege to meet him one day. And none of this is meant to be taken in a negative fashion, but okay, that's the disclaimer. So let me get to the good part. So like, I think you look at something like DRL, and DRL was a slam dunk, and DRL is still a slam dunk of like, they raised 12.6 million, I believe, and at record time, I think they closed that round in like 6 or 8 months, which is incredible, and it's because of the people, which is, in this case, is Nick. And once again, this is not meant to sound bad in any way. These are just merely the facts, right? I'm presenting you with the facts of like, Nick was a Harvard MBA, and Harvard's a very popular school if you're a venture capitalist. He's the former chief revenue officer of Tough Mudder, and he just, those are the facts.
He had
and
the right check boxes.
Yeah, well, he had the right check boxes and the right experiences. And like, I started this company out of high school, and so we've just had a different set of challenges.
I was a geology major in college.
To deal with, exactly. So
yeah, and this goes back to what you said, is it the right time? Is it the right team? Is it the right companies, right? And it's hard to prove that when you have no track record, right? And one of the things that you have to prove is a series of successes. A lot of people don't think it's like, oh, they were successful on Makersphere, but that's the beginning of a good track record. And that's what VCs look for. And, chaining all of those series of successes together will get you somewhere. But unfortunately, it also means it's a very long road to actually.
Yeah, and we should know, just so everyone listening knows, VC stands for venture capitalist, refers to institutional investors, basically like Shark Tank, but on steroids. So just so everyone knows. Anyway, I don't want to. Yeah.
And there's one last thing. I always have a final word over here. And that is, so if we were a product, if we were a company based around offering a product, we could make a physical prototype of our product and show it to people and ask them how much they pay for it, let them try it out, get their feedback, etc. Well, as a company that needs a facility in order to prove our company, our routes of kind of proving the market has been birthday parties, corporate team building events, one-on-one training sessions, workshops at schools. And that's great. And a lot of people, respect that and respect the hustle and all of that. But they also say, well, do you have a facility? What's your MVP? I'm like, bro, we will have a facility when we get we'll have an MVP when we get a facility. We can't be a facility without having it, So that's been kind of like a chicken before the egg type of thing. Which one comes first? And you need that track record in order to get it. But how do you create a track record off of something that some people claim is not, these birthday parties and things? They're like, well, that's great, but that proves a traveling entertainment company, and it's just that's been a challenge that we've had to deal with as well.
Definitely, and it's one of those things where you almost have to put up with building a mini facility that's doable from just taking on the financial burden, and then proving that out in order to actually get it to a bigger facility. But that's a lot of financial risk right there, and it's something that I've heard of several people talking about. There's actually, I just thought of this, there's actually a company out in, it's either North or South Carolina, that's trying to get a facility and doing STEM training. The Quad Talk guys actually
Yeah.
mentioned them. I can't remember them. I think they're called Flymore, but you might want to look them up.
Flymore, yep, that's the name of them.
Yeah, I just remembered that off the top of my head, and it's I totally agree with you. It's tough. It's tough.
Like we understand this is a popular idea. You know, we have to and I mean, every couple of weeks you have people mail on your website, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we're doing our thing." It's like, well, great, you know. But I think people on the world who are looking at science, you know, for this massive event, this very large kind of first. Anyway, but
I think I lost him.
Well,
I lost him.
Yeah.
Sitting here wondering, we didn't get you. You're not really.
Yeah, you guys are getting out.
Yeah, we're over our bandwidth limit. I don't know. Everything just slowed down.
Hello, is that better? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Have you turned your video off?
No. Well, I just turned it off and back on.
Okay. Well, as long as we can hear, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go ahead and just repeat what you just said?
But yeah, and like, anyway, so the people about South Carolina, like, that's fine, you know, and we understand that this is a popular idea. It is. You know, I mean, right after we went on Quad Talk and still to this day, you know, we have people email us almost regularly and they say like, oh yeah, we're thinking about doing a similar thing. People who contact us through our website, you know, and it's great. That's our answers. It's great. Like, we'd love to see if we can collaborate and stuff, but I don't think there's anyone in the world who's truly about this, you know, ginormous that we are. Okay.
Do you want to come with mine?
I don't hear.
Do you want to come and talk to mine?
No, it's because of our internet.
I'm fine. You hear me fine, right?
Yeah. I think you were fine when you had your video off. I don't know why, but you're getting pixelated. I think I don't know, maybe something kicked off downloading. If you want to just shut off your video, we're almost at the end, so.
Yeah. Is that better, guys?
Sounds
the
better.
audio's better.
Okay, I turned the video off, so.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we can finish up without video. I mean, we've captured like an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm sure everybody knows your face now, so we're good.
Right. Cool, no, but, sorry, okay, for the third time, here we go, right? But yeah, the thing about South Carolina, I mean, that's cool. You know, like, this is a popular idea. It really is. And because it's a popular idea because it's a popular problem, you know, and, you know, like right after we went on Quad Talk and still to this day, we've had several people who email us through our website and we'll be like, oh yeah, we're doing a similar thing here and blah, 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 you know, and it's like, well, great, cool. Like, we'd love to like talk and work with you guys. But I truly don't think there's anyone else in the world who's thinking about doing this with drones at the scale we are for this ginormous impact on not only our community, but quite frankly, the world, you know, and how drone parks worldwide would really just unleash ourselves on the world and how that would change everything. So, yeah.
Gotta think big and keep chugging at it,
right?
looking at it. Okay, so let's go ahead, and this is my favorite part of the podcast because I'm going to ask you to predict the future, right? So let's just say you're trying to predict 2018 and 2019. If you continue, you know, working on your company, what are your goals and achievements that you want to, you know, achieve in the next 2 years?
So I think as well, an important part of achieving our goals is finding new and creative ways to reach the public when we see a demand. So traveling to different cities, finding which city is the most receptive and demonstrates the highest demand for this. In culture, you know, in the different regions of the U.S. and the different cities within even Texas, different areas within a city even. I mean, here in Houston, you can drive 3 hours and you're still in greater Houston, as they call it. And so what part of Houston is the most creative, is the most receptive. Maybe the birthday parties work in the burbs here where we are. But as far as the workshops, we have to go downtown to the more creative schools. So we just are always trying to see how we can fill the demand of bringing drones to the public and seeing the most creative ways for that.
Definitely. And I think you're in a good area. I mean, Texas is definitely a very, I don't know, I shouldn't say rich state, but it's a state that has a lot of people, and they can actually fund a lot of things. You know, you go to Louisville, Kentucky, we don't fund things as well and as easily. I'm just going to say that. So definitely very cool. And we'll hope to, get you back sometime next year, and hopefully you've made progress. But before we end the show, like, where can we get a hold of you? So if somebody wants to help, or somebody wants to participate, somebody wants to learn from you, how can they contact you?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is to go follow us on Instagram. We have an Instagram, Drone Parks Worldwide. We try to post there every day.
The youngins these days, it's all about Instagram.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
And then, just on our website, droneparksworldwide.com. People can contact us through there. So, and we also have a Facebook as well and a Twitter, but no one follows us on Twitter because drone people don't do Twitter, which makes sense. So
it's actually very true. Is there any type of education or programs or anything that you'll be doing for the rest of the year, or is there, are you going to announce that
so
later?
Right now we do school workshops. It's how we're filling some of our time, while things pan out on other ends. So right now we do school workshops. We teach people to build, fly, and race tiny whoops, which is pretty cool. So if you're in Texas, definitely hit us up for one of those.
Also, drone birthday parties. We have a domain, dronebirthdayparties.com.
I don't know it. Yeah.
Well, people have been finding us on. It's drone birthday party.
I don't know, something.
Houston drone birthday parties. Google Houston drone. We should know this, Nick. This is not looking good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Google Houston drone birthday parties, and we'll be all over that.
That's actually. I think that's a great idea. Elvin, you got a new business.
What the hell, man? Come on.
Yeah.
That sounds like the crap, Like,
oh, dude, it's the coolest thing. If I were 12, I would totally have a drone birthday party.
see?
He's basically 12, so he definitely would have a drone birthday
This
party.
might be the driving doorway. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that, this will probably air in about 2 weeks. You might want to buy that domain name before. I like that idea.
We have it, dude. We've got it. Like,
that's hey.
You got it. I think it's HoustonDroneParties.com, but.
Yeah, just drone birthday parties. That's the one you need to buy. No, okay.
I think we have.
I think we have that one too.
We have multiple.
We have 35 domains.
Get them 50 Oregon drone parties.
I like that. That's great. All right.
Drone parties.
See, look, we went off the rail in the last 5 minutes of the show. This always happens. I'm blaming it on Elvin.
Okay.
Even though he's been quiet the whole time. Well. Hopefully, we will have you on next year, and you'll have progress, and hopefully you have a huge stadium, and then we can come down and visit and have big drone races down there or something. It'd be great.
Free entrance for Wyatt and Elvin.
Yeah, dude, we'd love to have you guys. So, and you guys can take up. You guys can. Oh, can you guys? Okay.
Yeah, we can see here. Yeah.
You guys can follow. Not Vonquad. WizWookie on his promise to roller skate to our facility in a Speedo. So,
look at that! I never heard of that. I don't remember hearing that. That's awesome.
There might be a whole brigade of people.
I am so happy.
Brigade of people just roller skating in Speedos.
Forrest Gump.
It would be great.
On the road.
That is going to be funny.
That is funny.
I just hope it's not a cold day out there. Anyway.
Yeah. WizWookie, you have fun now and send us pictures.
I don't know, man. It's he's not that big.
All right, we're cutting out for this podcast. Thank you for joining us. It was great to talk to you for an hour and a half, and you'll see my submission for stickers coming up after the show.
All right, I'm gonna tweet out your address. No.
We appreciate you coming on,
guys.
Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
I actually learned stuff, so I was kind of shocked.
Love you guys, man. You guys keep us going, so thank you.
Thanks.